I didn't get enough done today. That was a thought I'd have at the end of the day, sitting on the couch, kids finally asleep, and instead of feeling relief, I'd feel this low hum of guilt. I wished I'd been more productive. I'd wonder if I was lazy. No wonder business was slow. Like everyone else was somehow keeping up, and I just wasn't. And here's the thing, I'm a therapist. I specialize in burnout. I literally sit with people every week and help them recognize what chronic exhaustion does to a person. And I didn't see it in myself. If this sounds familiar, not the dramatic crash, not the obvious breakdown, but that quieter version, the low-grade exhaustion you can't quite explain, the Sunday dread, the feeling of going through the motions, the irritability that shows up out of nowhere, I want you to stay with me for a few minutes. Because if you've been calling yourself lazy, unmotivated, or dramatic, I want to offer you a different explanation. And it has nothing to do with your work ethic. I want to explain what was actually happening. Because once I understood this, it changed how I thought about everything. There are 3 things I wish someone would have told me about burnout and the nervous system that would have helped me so much sooner. The first is, burnout isn't about weakness or willpower. I often tell my clients, burnout is not a character flaw. It's a physiological state. Your nervous system has been running in overdrive, in fight, flight, or the slower, sneakier version of this, which is freeze. And when your nervous system stays in that state long enough, your body eventually stops cooperating. The motivation goes, the focus goes, the joy goes. That's not laziness. That's your biology doing exactly what it's supposed to do when it's been running on empty for too long. Number 2, why high-functioning people miss it the longest. Here's what makes this especially tricky for a lot of us. You've gotten really good at overriding your body's signals. You've been rewarded probably your whole life for doing more, pushing through, keeping it together. So your brain learned to read exhaustion as a cue to try harder, not as a cue to rest. By the time something feels really wrong, you've usually been depleted for a long time. The burnout didn't start last week or even recently. It started the moment you learned that slowing down wasn't okay. And number 3, rest alone doesn't fix a dysregulated nervous system. This is a piece that I see missing from almost every conversation about burnout recovery. You can sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted. You can take an all-inclusive vacation and come back feeling exactly the same days later. Because what a burned out nervous system actually needs isn't just downtime. It needs cues of safety. It needs experiences that signal to your body, you're okay, you can come down now. That's a very different kind of recovery than we usually talk about. So for me, and I want to be honest about this because I think it matters, the shift didn't come from optimizing my schedule or finding a better system. And it's not to say those things aren't helpful. But what actually helped me, that was sustainably helpful, was getting more connected, real connection, not only with myself, but with my friends, with my body, with the present moment in a way I'd been too depleted to access. For me, recovery looked different than I expected. Instead of picking up the phone to call a friend, I'd sit quietly on the couch scrolling. Or I'd tell myself I needed to work, do the laundry, get the groceries done, anything that felt productive and justifiable, rather than step away and actually set up plans with someone. It was easier to stay busy than to admit I needed connection. What actually helped was starting to choose the friend, the walk, the early morning strength training that wasn't about being productive. It was just one of the only things that made me feel like myself again. Small things, but they were the things that actually replenished me. I'm not going to give you a list. Lists are part of what got us here. But here's one thing I'd invite you to try this week. And I mean genuinely try. not just think about. Instead of ending your day by asking, what did I get done? Try asking, what did my body actually need today? And did I give it any of that? It might be connection. It might be movement. It might be presence. It might be 10 minutes outside on the phone with a friend, or just sitting with the fact that you're more tired than you've been letting yourself admit. That question, what does my body need, is where recovery actually starts. Not with a new habit, with a little bit of honesty. If this landed for you, especially if you've been hard on yourself about how you've been feeling, I want you to know that's the most common thing I hear in my practice. You're not alone in this, and you are not lazy. I'm Nicole. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist based in California, and I specialize in burnout, overfunctioning, and the particular exhaustion that comes from spending your whole life taking care of everyone except yourself. Next week, I'm talking about why people pleasers tend to be the last ones to recognize their own burnout and why that's not an accident. I think you'll want to hear that one. I'll see you then.